What is up, everybody? Jared Popek and Ike Bush here on the Bulldog Report, bringing you the action between Metuchen and Roselle girls varsity basketball. Should be a good one today as the Dogs look to continue their excellent season right now, Jared. 17-7. They're taking on a tricky and pretty evenly matched team against Roselle, who's 14-6, 8-4 in the Union County Conference.
Yeah, certainly a very good team. They're led by certainly Zoe Boston, number 33 here today. A true force on the defensive end for Roselle here, and we should see a very nice competition here between Aurelie Germain as well.
Should be a good one as the Dogs looking to continue their good year, as I said, and obviously a lot of their offense has revolved around number 32, Aurelie Germain. So one of the talks we had last girls' game, was that maybe Aurelie becomes, at least in a sense, neutralized when she's facing off against taller players, and today we're going to see a lot of height on the team for Roselle. The Rams might try to neutralize Germain because she is the X factor for the Bulldogs out there. Starting lineup for Roselle: Zoe Boston, their star player, number 24, Alion Littles, number 12, Sabrina Davis, number 51, Brianna Holt, 35, and Chinazam Anaduko, number 15. So looking to continue their great year is Roselle. Tip-off underway. Holt versus Germain. Tip side goes to Germain, and Pfeiffer takes it up. Bulldogs on the ball. Connors to Germain, and this game is underway. Gray drops one for Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer drops it in. 18 seconds into the game, the Dogs strike first. Good stuff there. Nice passing, and Pfeiffer gets the job done under the rim for the points. 2-0 Dogs.
That's a great job by Sam Pfeiffer there, finding that gap in the defense and really putting it up for two there.
It'll be interesting to see if Metuchen can use their big man strategy or the shooting strategy that they have in the past. There's Zoe Boston. Get used to hearing her name. She's the X factor, as I said, for the Rams. What has she done this year, Jared? Zoe Boston, she's been pretty great, but what exactly has she excelled at, just the junior, number 33?
She's certainly excelled in rebounds and in scoring. In scoring, she's leading the team with 382 points. That's insane, especially for a junior. And leading the team in rebounds with 236. So both sides of the floor she's completely controlling.
That's Zoe Boston, number 24, Zoe Boston. And so here's the Dogs starting lineup. They've got Charlotte Breen, Cassidy Connors. Here's a three, can't get it. There's Sam Pfeiffer, number 54, who pulls it down. Katie Gray, who also on the lineup, and Aurelie Germain, of course, number 32. She gets the rebound there. Does she have the point? She doesn't. It's ripped out and free. It's free ball there, picked up by the Rams, and they have the ball now, who they trail now by 2 points. Shot, it hits off the rim, rebounded on a little scrum underneath, shot back up, it's no good. That was Holt that couldn't get it to go. Holt can't make it work, and the Bulldogs back on offense. Here's Breen. Pfeiffer for three, no. She can't make it work. Germain can't get the rebound. Now on a quick break, here come the Rams. Rams with the ball, almost lost it, scooped back up by Littles. Floater, chance, a foul on the way to the hoop. It's a foul against Germain, I believe, a shooting foul, which will give Holt a chance at the line for two. Brianna Holt this year, 229 points, 233 rebounds, 23 steals, averaging 11.4 a game, and 11.7 rebounds per game. She's been great, and she doesn't lead the team in rebounds, but 11.7 rebounds per game is pretty great, and obviously with good height, she's able to make a lot of stuff work on the offensive side.
And this is really good, especially for a freshman. Brianna Holt being a freshman at Roselle, obviously coming with size and coming with power on both ends of the floor. And as this one is taken down for Roselle, Jumper's good. Nice job. That was a good job by Boston from about the stripe. And she gets it, gives them the lead, 5-4. Roselle up in front with 5.5 in the first quarter. Breen kicks over underneath to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer works now. Germain was... Oh, they're not going to count the points anyway. It's a turnover against Metuchen. It looked like a carry on the offense. So now they're losing for the first time today, and
Metuchen this year has been very good when they strike first, and they did strike first technically today, but I think in general, when you're up in front, Metuchen is able to protect those leads, unlike a lot of other teams out there in the league, and Metuchen gets it done when they're up in general. At the end, I say, of the first quarter, the first half, they find ways to win games when they're up, which is just a testament to good defense. There's a three-pointer, and it falls, and like I'm saying, you know, Metuchen's losing, and obviously it's just early in the first quarter, but I'm not really so sure they're used to playing from behind. They haven't been down too much in the season in general because obviously such a great record they have.
And they've really dominated all season. They haven't given up when they're down. They actually have won 4 of their last 5, and against good schools, of course. New Brunswick, South Amboy, Perth Amboy, and losing this past Friday against South Brunswick in the GMC tournament.
So they're trailing by 4 right now. They've fouled once and 0 for the opposing Roselle Rams. Here's a 3. The first one went before. Second one, no good. Those are both shots by Sabrina Davis. None of them go through. It's going to go, looks like, out of bounds. And keep it on the offensive side. Excuse me, that was not Davis. Davis, the one closest to us, number 51. She has the ball now. She puts up a 3. Didn't go. It's rebounded and swatted down by Germain. This is that height neutrality that we see between the two players. I don't think the points are going to count. They don't. So there's that Germain and Brianna Holt kind of cancel out, and Zoe Boston too, who's the one that just had the ball. They kind of cancel out, and they're guarding Germain the best they can using the players with height that they have. And right now, I think they have what it takes to at least neutralize Germain and pick away at that Metuchen offense, which right now is struggling to find points without Germain scoring anything yet. Katie Gray goes to Germain, who was swatted out, last touched off of Ano Doko. Ball in the hands of Sabrina Davis with 3:45 to go, almost halfway through the quarter. And it's rebounded by the Dogs. They'll take it for Connors down the side. Kicks up. Pfeiffer looks back to Connors. Germain, this ball's swatted out, going to go the other way. Jared Roselle's defense looks really good. What's been the main focus when it comes to that?
The key has really been their height in this game. They've actually been able to outmatch the Bulldogs so far in terms of height, and they've actually gotten on the rebound on both the offensive side and the defensive side, something that Metuchen certainly has to work on in capitalizing on those points and getting on the glass to get those rebounds.
3:21 to go. Davis takes it across the half. She's the point guard. She kicks over to Littles. Davis upstairs. Holt up. Good. Nice play. Brianna Holt with her height off the glass and in. 10-4. Good stuff there by Holt. That combination, I think, between Holt and Boston might be a little too much for Metuchen to handle. Just predictions, but obviously lots of height, lots of skill down low, and Metuchen really only has Germain to counter offensively. I mean, in terms of height against those big players who are looking really good out of the gate. Here's Littles for 3. Everything seems to be clicking right now, and we haven't seen Roselle. We haven't seen Metuchen down by so much in a while. Henry will kick over to you on the sideline, talking about what you think has gone wrong for Metuchen so far.
Hey, thank you, Ike. I mean, Metuchen has been phenomenal on defense all season. They have just been suffocating every one of their opponents, not allowing them to score any points. And like you said, they're not used to playing from behind. So this is really new for Metuchen. 4-12. Roselle with a huge lead on him, and their defense, usually suffocating defense, has not been going as planned. And Metuchen, after this timeout, really needs to think about how they want to reshape that and maybe adjust after the timeout. But Metuchen, most importantly, has to start putting up some points. They got to get used to what they're not used to. And they just need to improve on offense and start playing good defense like they have been all season. Back to you, Ike.
Thanks, Henry. Yep, it's been a struggle offensively, and Metuchen's been good for the most part offensively all year, but they have to kind of get back. They have to go into something they haven't gone into really all year, playing from behind, and not just behind. a lot behind. And as you see, Jermaine and Breen are out of the game right now for the Dogs. Into the game is you see freshman Lucy Pilata, number 10. She's out there for the first time tonight. And also into the game, Ella Polakowski checked in. Here's a shot from 3. Rebound, which is usually kind of the thing that Orly's there for, but this time Polakowski couldn't get to it. And it's rebounded by Davis and her friends, who take it with 2:20 to go. Boston floats it up. She tried to get it to Holt. Holt can't hold it in. A little too high for her as it goes out of bounds. Still a 13-4 game. Bulldogs back on the ball. It will be checked into Breen. And Metuchen's offense, I think, has excelled shooting better than they have kind of working underneath in the paint in general. When Jermaine's cooking, she's pretty much on fire, but in general, I think they have a lot of shooters, Metuchen. They should capitalize if they want to try to come back in this game. Sloppy play offensively as it goes a backcourt violation. Pilata couldn't quite recover it as it goes backcourt. Still a 9-point game.
And Metuchen's found themselves in deficits at some point this season, obviously. A loss against Woodbridge and Spotswood, but they've definitely battled back this year, and they've played in some close games, of course, and they've definitely come back. They obviously have to use something that Roselle really can't handle. Could it be getting those lanes, passing quicker, or shooting around the arc? And once that starts clicking, it's going to work out well for the Bulldogs.
Dogs back on the ball. Here's Gray. Does she have the points? Our cameras are adjusting, but doesn't block you from the view of Katie Gray making the shot while being fouled. Chance at the line for more points. Now back into the game. Orly Jermaine, and out comes Ella Polakowski. Just a quick sub out. This is that Kathy Blood system that we talked about. Just give Jermaine the rest she needs out of the timeout. Only about a minute off, and now she's back on the court to do what she has to.
And of course you can mix in different players to try and catch this Roselle offense lacking. And I think that their defense so far has looked alright, but their offense really needs to get going here to combat the Roselle Rams.
So Jermaine checked back in, but never back in was Sam Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer came out and in came Green. So actually an interesting look for Metuchen. They're playing without Pfeiffer. Usually stays in for a little while out there for the Dogs. The points go. It's 15-6 now. The points cancel out. Here's Pfeiffer. She's getting ready to go in. Also, Vicky Zanecki looking to check in. So I think it's okay. If we had to make our predictions right now, I think it'd be Cassidy Connors out and Katie Gray based on their positions. Here's a 3. Green can't get it to go. Rebounded by Holt. Holt takes it. Inside of 50 seconds to go. Swatted down. Connors needs these points. Here she goes to her speedster. And off the glass and in for Charlotte Breen. Nice find by Connors. Nice steal by Connors. And a nice layup by Charlotte Breen. This game is 7. So a 7-point game. Holt on it. Bunch of Bulldog defenders swarming her for 3. Littles hit one before. Lefty shot goes up. No good off the rim. Rebounded by Holt after a few bounces. Chucks it back up to the point guard and they'll reset. Jumper. Oh, wow, what a shot. Contested over a defender, and inside of 10 seconds, Metuchen looking to counter. They'll never make that sub with Pfeiffer and Zanecki waiting, and they'll just join in on the second quarter. Connors puts it up. She's got it. What a half of action. 17-10. Dogs down by 7 right now in a game that they frankly really, really want to win, and I really want to see them compete at a high level against Roselle. Henry, what are you looking forward to seeing if you're Metuchen in these next few quarters after a nice convincing end to the half offensively?
Thank you, Ike. I mean, Metuchen improved a tiny little bit. I mean, they were down by 7, and now they're still down by 7. I mean, Metuchen, their defense definitely still needs some work in the second quarter and on from then on. But their offense stepped it up a bit in the last couple minutes. They ended up scoring 5 more points, doubling their total from last time. And I think Metuchen really needed that. Cassidy Connors' last-second buzzer beater, along with some other points in that game, really contributed to Metuchen being able to step it up on offense. So if they keep at this pace, step up their defense a tiny bit, I think they should be able to win this game later. Back to you, Ike.
Thanks, Henry. Yeah, we'll see how the second quarter goes. I said end of the half. I meant end of the quarter. Obviously, Dogs still have 3 quarters to play. They're trailing right now by 7. 8 minutes to go in the second quarter will bring us to halftime which will have a nice little surprise at halftime. Right now, a 7-point game in favor of the Rams, and they'll have the ball after the buzzer beater Cassidy Connors end of the quarter shot, which looked good. And like I told Henry, Jared, this Metuchen offense looked a lot better after the timeout.
It certainly did, and they mixed in some new players, of course. They were trying to get Vicky Sinecki in there, which she actually is in there now, and Sam Pfeiffer's checked back in. But Lucy Pilata also in there, along with, of course, Charlotte Breen and Aurelie Germain.
So it looks like to me, this Roselle offense, and I know it's just the second quarter, but it revolves around two players. That Holt-Boston combination. And this one is going to be a jump ball, which stays Metuchen's way after an almost steal. But it does look like it's a very two-player system with a bunch of role players. And what I mean by that is that the offense revolves around two players, and when it doesn't work, Metuchen's defense is already on those defenders. It feels like they're almost, have all of their defenders at least in the general area, and it leaves a few open players. Like we saw Littles capitalize on some shots outside. Sabrina Davis is running the offense and just kind of she's planning everything, it seems, and Metuchen is struggling to keep up defensively. But their offense looks good. There's a steal by the defense. That shot no good from Pilata, pulled down by Amodu. Basira Amodu, the forward junior, checked into the game for the first time. Now to her left. The shot goes up from Boston, rebounded by Boston, out to Littles. Scooped up Boston, back to her left. There's three Metuchen defenders around her. It doesn't stop her from putting it to the rim. It doesn't get fouled. Bulldog ball. That just shows exactly what I'm saying, Jared. There were three defenders on one player at one time. It actually left Holt just to be defended by one player, and of course the other defenders just seem to be wide open, and it creates them, even though they might not be necessarily great players, it leaves them many opportunities and chances to make points and put points on the board. So here's a steal. Littles on the move. She puts it up off the glass and in. And Roselle strikes again. It's 21-10. Dogs struggling out of the half, allowing 4, scoring none, almost 2 minutes in.
And Metuchen's actually developed sort of a press defense coming out of the break here, and hopefully it should work for the Bulldogs here, as we've seen especially the boys struggle against the press defense this year. We'll see how they react.
Nice jumper by Pfeiffer. She gets the points to go, and Dogs only down by 9 now. There's that press defense you were talking about. It worked a few times earlier in the quarter. The problem with it, though, it creates a lot of fast breaks, such as these. Maybe that's the way that to, though, defend an offense like Roselle.
And I guess if you're a little bit faster, like Metuchen maybe is, of course you have a lot of fast players, Charlotte Breen, Cassidy Connors, players like that can actually catch up to the fast break, and maybe it works to the advantage of the Bulldogs.
Bulldog ball. They looked good after the defensive almost stop. It went out of bounds. The Dogs have the ball now, and now they're setting up the offense to try to cut more into this lead. There's camera fixing, but still the points go in. It's 21-14. Dogs chipping into that lead. I'm really liking the offense. They're kind of changing, right? They're changing the offense, and maybe they did enough film and film studying and observing in this game to understand what this offense is all about. And by the way, this press defense is working pretty great.
It's forcing Roselle to actually not be as secure with the ball. And ball security, of course, very important in this one. Metuchen's passing so far been all right.
Here's the chance by Gray. Oh, absolutely swatted out by Boston. Just denied on that one. So I've talked about in many games about how the press defense forces the offense to rush. And what that does, obviously, is it shapes the offense to make plays that they wouldn't otherwise make, right? And that creates problems for the offenses. They're not able to run the way that they want to, the way that they're coached to. And it creates turnovers, and just like these, Metuchen looks like they're ahead and actually dominating when they're defensively playing the press against these Rams. And they were struggling when they weren't, so it's been a turn of the tide when they added this press defense. Only problem, though, sometimes it tires out your defense, so I'm sure head coach Kathy Glutz knows more than anybody that, about tiredness and using your players to their full ability when they're rested. But the problem is you don't want necessarily always to use the scheme because they can get tired. We'll see, though. A break in 4:44 with the half coming up. A shot by Connors, no good. The senior waiting for her first three-pointer of the game. A timeout called by Roselle, and they'll go talk things over with their squad. 4:39 to go in the second quarter. Jared, what do you want to see from Roselle to counter this defense that Metuchen is running?
And of course, they've never played each other before, Roselle and Metuchen, so this is something completely new for them. But obviously, I think they're getting a sense of Metuchen here, and they're out in front by 7 points. And there's still time left in the half, but of course, at the half, Kathy Glutz is going to have to make some adjustments. So far, I've liked what I've seen from Roselle, running that fast break and running with their two players there with Brianna Holt and Zoe Boston. So definitely good one here.
Set for a good one to close out the half. The quarter went according to plan for Roselle. Bulldogs struggled in many areas, and out of the quarter they looked good. So making some changes, and obviously Kathy Glutz, great coach for the Bulldogs, and she's been making some changes, able to audible and adjust against this offense that Roselle has, and even the defense, as Metuchen's finding a little more success scoring some points. Obviously scored 10 out of the end of the quarter, only 4 here in the second quarter, but feels like the offense's rhythm is kind of finding its way at least a little bit more recently in the quarter.
And teams always take some time to pick up their pace on offense, and of course this is happening with Metuchen, where they're struggling to get points early, but then they eventually find their groove.
Germain almost got the rebound and sent Metuchen on an offensive drive. Instead, it was a quick steal by Boston, and now a shot rebounded by Germain. They'll slow the offense down and get it over to Pfeiffer. She made the J from over there before. The J no good. Swatted off the rim. Germain almost had some tip-in points, but she couldn't make it fall. Still a 7-point game. This one evenly matched, especially since Metuchen has adjusted their offense and defense, their scheme in general, to counter this Roselle team. Littles with it. She's guarded by Pfeiffer. She kicks outside. A three-pointer already made. This one no good on the shot by Anna Duoka. Say that 3 times fast. Rebounded by Metuchen. They'll have the ball. Gray, little handoff over to Charlotte Breen for 3. That's huge for the Dogs. Anna Duoka, that time I did it right, on the floor. She's injured or appears to be shaken up, but the points will count regardless for Metuchen. It looks like she'll be able to shake it off and play some more. Dogs only trail by 4. What a momentum change it was to send her team into a big momentum shift, and now they're only trailing by 4. The senior captain gets it done there. That was Charlotte Breen.
And they're playing much better defense, which of course helps their offense get going. And they weren't hesitant to shoot in the first quarter and early in the second quarter, and now it's eventually falling.
This one dropped over the head of her teammate Holt. Holt couldn't get to it, and now the Dogs have the chance to make this a 1-possession game for the first time in the quarter. Under 3.5 to go. Dogs on the board more recently than not. They're looking pretty good. Here's Germain working inside. Did she travel? She did. That stinks. And again, Germain struggling. She still hasn't scored any points, and obviously that's nothing against her. It's definitely something, though, against Holt and her defense and Boston and her defense. They're playing good defense. Speaking of defense, there's a steal by the Dogs. Give it to your 3-point shooter, Connors. Does she make it a 1-point game? Not yet, as it's rebounded by Boston, and here comes Red. Rams on it. Across the logo goes Boston. Wow, she's weaving through some defenders. Kicks it to Holt. Holt can't get the layup to go. What a play by Boston. Nice find, but Holt couldn't get the points to fall. Pfeiffer, bouncer, 3-pointer already. Another one? No, not by Breen, as it's pulled down by the defense of Roselle. Is it a zone defense? Looks like it is. A 3-point is airballed by Littles. She has one today. She's now 1 for 4 outside of the arc. And into the game is Polakowski. Is she coming in for Germain? She is. Jared, what do you do with Germain if you're head coach Kathy Glutz? How do you get her to be as effective as she always is?
Well, she's always really matched up in size to her competition, and this time she's one of the only that's matching up to her competition, which is of course a struggle because you have almost as many defenders that can match up to Germain here. And this fast break offense that Metuchen has been a part of recently has actually been good for them because they've been able to outrun Roselle.
Trailing by 2, everything's going Metuchen's way since that timeout. And they look good. They really do look good here in the second quarter, more so than the first quarter. Littles is going to get ready to inbound. Probably Davis is the one that she should inbound it to, but Boston has the handles. As you see, Davis setting up the offense, guarded by Breen. Breen in a zone defense. She's the top right defender for the Dogs. A shot from Davis. She hasn't had any points tonight, and she continues that streak as she hits it off the front of the rim, and the Dogs get the rebound. Inside of a minute 50 to go, it's Breen who dishes to her senior captain, Connors, for 3. That one was Pfeiffer. She couldn't get it to go. It bricked. Josie Gray, I think, getting ready to sub in for the first time today. Her sister Katie's out there. She's guarding the best offensive player for Roselle, and she gets a steal as we speak. Now Pfeiffer releases, stolen by Littles, and here comes Roselle. Sloppy offense by both of them in the last minute or so. Littles puts it up, and good off the glass. The kiss is good. It's 23-14, Roselle. Wow, I feel like I have to take a deep breath after all that. That was fast-paced offense and steals both ways. Shows a lot of the defense and very little offense by both those teams the last few minutes. Polkowski can't catch the ball, and that one goes out of bounds with a minute to go. Josie in for Katie, and the Grays make a swap. Out comes Davis out of the game. In comes Alexis Santiago for her first minutes of the game. Inside of a minute to go in the first half. Santiago, little chuck up to her friend underneath now. It's a pass to Amodu. Amodu can't get it, but the rebound, and Holtz got it. Brianna Holtz been awesome today, and I know Zoe Boston has been really good, and one of the highlights for Roselle, but Holtz been just as good.
Holtz certainly has been just as good, and of course, being a freshman, she's putting up really good numbers this year.
There's the steal, but not a steal if you can't hold on to it. Gray kicks it underneath. It was stolen by Santiago. Now a quick move. Here comes Amodu looking for her first points, and she'll get the and one attempt. She gets 2. She's looking for her third. It's 27-19. They've scored 4 consecutive points with a chance to make it 5. It was a foul by Connors, her first.
And Roselle has actually done a great job surging ahead here against this Metuchen team. Of course, a burst of momentum there for Metuchen, and Roselle answering the call.
Head coach Bill Hawk is coaching his team well because of the way that they've shut down Germain essentially here in the first half. We've probably seen the final minutes of hers in this one. She airballs the free throw, and it's going to be Dogs ball with 21.9 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Pfeiffer up top. Connors fakes the shot, floats, tipped, ball ripped out, and she'll give it now back to Connors, who a shot goes up. She's missed a few three-pointers in a row today. I think it's staying offensively for the Dogs. It is. Chance for some more points. Try to crack 20 in the half. Let's see if they have it. Gray. Up to Pfeiffer. She puts a 3 up. Oh, wow. That looked like a desperation 3. Even though she didn't need to make it desperation, and she splashed it without a doubt in time. It's a 5-point game, end of the half. That's huge for Metuchen. A little bit of momentum, and that is the end of the first half, Jared. What do the Dogs take from the first half and bring into the second half? What do they leave behind?
Well, they certainly take that momentum that they've had. That fast-paced play has actually caught Roselle in a bit of a bump here, and it's definitely going to help the Bulldogs come down the stretch here and get some more points.
Well, we have a lot of time left in this one, obviously 16 minutes. We're going to turn over to Henry Sia right now to talk a little bit about what Metuchen needs to do in order to activate Orly Germain and get her some points in the second half.
I mean, Metuchen, after that, timeout earlier this quarter, Metuchen just been doing so much better. And it looks like they were going to make a comeback. It was 19-21. Metuchen getting in there, creeping back in the game, playing good defense, making sure they don't score any points. All of a sudden, Roselle just breaks on a 6-point streak, which really just cut any sort of chances of Metuchen coming back, but then guess what? They do it again. Sam Pfeiffer, the end of the quarter, makes a three, and she nails it. Makes it a 5-point game. Metuchen definitely able to creep in there, but Orly Germain has just, she's been doing good, but she has been dominant all season. And today, she's been just good. So Metuchen really needs to unlock that X factor in Orly Germain if they want to step it up on defense and offense. On offense, they've been doing fine. 22 points is a good first half. But Germain, on defense, she has been that girl, that guy on defense in order to bolster that top-ranked defense in the GMC. And if she steps up her game, this entire defense gets motivated. Back to you, Ike.
All right, thanks, Henry. Yeah, good half by the Dogs. They have a lot of work, though, to do in the second half if they want to come out with the W. There's some handles. The shot goes up, and it's no good. We have former principal Bruce Paragallo here in the media room right now. Just going to talk to you, Mr. Paragallo, about what you think. How is it being back in the high school? Obviously, you've been back, but being back and being able to watch your first game of the year as you're watching Metuchen play a good game.
Thank you. It's always nice to be back, and especially back in the gym. I don't know if you know, but I actually taught here between 1984 and 1989, and spent a lot of time on that gym floor because I taught phys ed. So to come back and to be back in this gym and to see our girls play, it's pretty exciting. And they had a good first half, and they're slowly creeping back into this thing. Hopefully they'll have a strong second half.
Yeah, they look good. And you've been retired just recently. Last year was your first year out. I think I'm a junior, so my freshman year you were the principal, but since then it's been Mr. Porowski. But there's been lots of changes here in the high school. What's it like kind of seeing this media room exactly just kind of develop, and the media program here at the high school develop since, under your very own eyes?
Well, I've got to tell you, I'm really excited about what I'm hearing in terms of what may be going on with potentially a class for broadcasting and the media side of things. I was always very much in favor of us having some kind of a broadcasting class. We had actually thought about another room in the building that we thought could possibly work a little bit better for this. But I think it's an outstanding opportunity. I think that our job as high school teachers and administrators are to develop you for jobs once you leave college, and this certainly could do that for some of you if you're interested in continuing. So
yeah.
It's a great experience. It truly is.
Yeah, there's a class, if you weren't aware before this interview, there is a class being offered for next year. I think it's titled Media Production, but it's going to be I think it's listed right now as a half-year course. It should be a full-year course next year. So if you're interested in editing or broadcasting or graphics and all that, just, sign up to take the class next year. Should be a good time for sure. I don't want to keep you too long, Mr. Paragallo. I have just one more question.
Sure.
You were here to witness a lot of the all-time greats, as we call it here in the media room, with Dylan Manfrey and Eddie Kalegi running the show here. And they how much have they left their mark? Obviously, this is a extraordinary program now, and at least in reference to the there's a lot of other schools that have insane amounts of technology and whatnot, but they're bigger schools. This is a small school with a nice program.
This is amazing, and I've got to give a lot of credit to those two guys you mentioned, Eddie and Dylan. I remember when Eddie came to us and wanted to start his podcast, and we gave him a desk in the library in one of the back offices, and that's where Eddie started. And Dylan just also added his flavor to what we've been doing, and again, I think it's outstanding, and I think it's really what high school is about, to discover different opportunities and potentially different careers for our students, whether it be now or down the road. I think both those guys are probably off to some great careers. I understand Eddie's doing a real good job over at Rutgers right now. Dylan, I believe, just graduated Rider. So I'm happy for them. But, I also have to commend Mr. Cathcart, who's been very instrumental in developing this room as well as developing the program over the course of the last number of years. And I also think what he did with putting cameras in the gymnasium and really creating a great environment during our COVID period also helped to add to the strength of this program. So he's worked hard, and I'm not sure he always gets the credit that he deserves.
Yep, that's for sure. Thank you so much for joining us again. It's really great to talk to you, and in a few minutes we'll get the second half of play, but thank you for joining us here in the media room, Mr. Paragallo. Maybe we'll have you on sometime soon.
I hope so, and really keep up the good work, and it's always nice to come back home.
All right, 3 minutes to go until second half. Jared Popek and I will be back on in just a few minutes. Thank you for joining us. We will see you guys in just a bit for the second half. Ready to go here in the second half after a nice interview with the former principal and teacher here at at MHS. Dogs right now trailing by 5. It was actually a lot more at one point. It was also a lot less at one point. It was a streaky half, but they ended the half on good terms. The first shot by Boston, no good. Second one, good. And second half starts a lot like the first half. Boston gets some points.
Boston has really been a key point to this team so far, and she's done a great job on both ends of the floor, getting on top of Orly Germain and getting on the boards there, which has been very important to the scoring of this game.
Chucks up a 3 that was Pfeiffer ripped down by Holt, who's also been a highlight, if not the highlight, tonight, by a great team so far. Roselle with it. We have technical problems with our third camera right now, as Connors takes it across the half. Sorry we couldn't get you to see that, but Roselle wasn't able to score, obviously, as it's still a 7-point game. It's going to stay Metuchen's wing. Pfeiffer dribbles, moves to Connors. Connors, Gray, Germain out of bounds. Roselle ball. On a Duoka with the inbound. 6:36 to go. Littles and more troubles with the camera view, so we'll try to figure out what's going on there and figure that out for you guys. Obviously inconvenient. Right now we'll step aside, we'll figure this out, have this all fixed up, and we'll get back on in a bit. .5:30 to go. Bulldogs on defense. You missed not that much. You're only trailing by 6 right now as you see this ball get swatted out of bounds. 5.5 to go in the third quarter. Inside of 15 minutes to go in the game. Back after technical issues, and right now Metuchen seems to be having no technical issues defensively, by the way, because there you go. I thought I was going to get the commentator's curse, but that time gods are good to me there. And yeah, out of the half they've looked good defensively, and that's been one of their biggest gripes in this one, trying to shut down the big men, or the big ladies that make up this Roselle team. A swat against Germain, and she's a swat on Germain's shot will send her to the line for 2 shots. She trails, the team trails by 6 right now. She'll have a chance for 2 more, her first points of the game, if she makes them.
And as Metuchen's really just getting worked into the second half, they're doing well, especially on the defensive floor, to level out Brianna Holt and Zoe Boston. And Orly Germain has actually come up here and gotten a foul, which is sort of an appearance for her today.
She missed the first one, still wants to get some points here at the trip to the line. And she gets it. So her first points of the game, Germain and Metuchen still, though, trail by 5. But good out of the half, for sure. Pallotta contesting against Littles. Now a float up to a wide-open Holt, who's just been almost perfect today. Spot on the pass, spot on the layup, and the finish makes it a 7-point game. Metuchen hasn't had too much success shooting the ball. Pfeiffer's made a few shots. Breen made some of her shots, but Connors hasn't been able to shoot too well because of his defense, and as you see, Germain get fouled. It's not a shooting foul, though. Second foul by the team in the half. Roselle's defender, Zoe Boston, with the foul. Connors. Pfeiffer chucking the 3 up. Ooh, it bricks. I thought that might have been good from range, but it didn't go. Boston pulled it down. She moves over inside. That was a foul against Metuchen. Amodu sent to the line. She's been a good player, doing some of the dirty work for the Roselle Rams today. They kind of had some plays underneath the basket where if you don't want to turn to Boston or Holt, you go to her. And Amodu was just fouled for the second time today with the chance to put some more points on the board. That one the foul by Orly Germain, her second of the game.
And Roselle has done very well so far on countering Metuchen when they score some points and get right back down and draw a foul like they did there. And especially with, of course, Aylin Littles, Brianna Holt, and Anna Duaka, it's a great combination for Roselle to really put some points on the board, as you just saw they did.
Well, the second shot didn't go in. The first one did. So it's a 35-28 game. Dogs not out of this yet. They're going to hang in. Connors dishes inside. It's going to stay... it's going to go to Roselle, their ball. On a Duoka. Now over to Boston. Boston lofts it up. Amodu. Too shy on the shot. Taken by Pallotta. The freshman takes it now for the Dogs. The look for the Dogs right now. Pallotta, Breen, Connors, Germain, and Gray. Connors. What a pass over to her co-captain, who shoots it but can't get it to go. Breen, three-pointer just barely off. Into the game is Zanecki, and Gray. Out of the game are Gray, the other Gray, and Connors.
And of course this is just Coach Glutz working in her bench here, trying to spark something in this offense where they've struggled a little bit so far in the second half.
Chinizome on a... Oh, that one's a shot by Anodu. That one can't go. Rebounded by Holt. Pulled down by Germain. A little shaken up is Amodu. She's kind of limping across the half. Let's hope she's okay. That one up. The chance by Gray. No good. Now back for the Rams. Here they come. Storming into the offensive end. Littles. Jumper. Good. Boston got it to go. And Metuchen will move aside now. And try to adjust their problems. Right now, it's been plenty of problems since the beginning of the second half. They looked good in the start of the second half, first few minutes, and I think they've had a little bit of trouble with a few things, maybe since introducing their bench and trying to shake things up, but it's been a struggle for Metuchen. They trail by 10, the most in a little while, and there you see them unsuccessful on yet another drive. It's Roselle's ball. Pfeiffer getting ready to move back into the game. Ooh, that could have been a big difference maker. Fortunately for the Dogs, it doesn't fall. It remains a 10-point game. Connors and Pfeiffer stacking up ready to come back into the game. Zanecki, she goes up. It was swatted down. Boston got a piece. Floated up and out of bounds. Actually, ooh, looked like it would have been maybe Metuchen's ball, but it wasn't. Pallotta out. In comes Connors to fill her spot, and out comes Breen, and in comes Pfeiffer. Approaching the final 2 minutes of the third. Corner 3, furthest corner from us. That's not good, as it's just a bit shy on the shot there by Anaduoka. Here comes the Rams. That one good. Holt's got it. Holt has been great. And that one, a mismatch. She capitalizes off of, Jermaine not guarding her, and she makes it work. Jermaine not in the game right now, and it feels like even though Jermaine hasn't scored many points tonight, when she's not in the game, Metuchen kind of just crumbles because they have no height.
And it's sort of similar with the boys, how like when Marcus Malamug is not on the floor or Max Cohn, they're sort of missing a link, even though sometimes they may not be showing up for the team. They're a leader on the floor, and so is Aurelie Germain, along with, of course, the captains, Cassidy Connors and Charlotte Breen. And all three of those people on the floor are really impactful to the team, even when they're not contributing, to sort of lead their players into scoring.
When it comes to how much they actually contribute athletically, do you think Aurelie not being on the court affects in a kind of a moral mindset, or just like in terms of, hey, my leader's not out there, my captain's not out there, or is it actually an athletic thing? How much do you think is athletic? How much do you think is just we need our captain to help lead us and make some plays?
Well, of course it's moral in a way that, of course, she's a leader on this team, but it's also athletic where you can always turn to her, you know where she's going to be on the floor, and you know that you can turn to her, especially like in the paint, to get layups or get a rebound, where you can sort of rely on her. And when she's not on the floor, you sort of turn to different options, which might be what Metuchen needs right now to get back in this game.
And it feels like when Metuchen is down, they turn to her. Aurelie Germain seems to be the lotion for Metuchen when they need it, and that's been something that they keep kind of leaning on her to maybe to heal them a little bit, but the Band-Aid just hasn't been sticking tonight, and it's not her fault. I blame it on Roselle's defense, because they've been phenomenal trying to shut down Germain. So Germain right now on the bench looking to come back in and make an impact, which I know she will, because honestly she's been probably the most unstoppable Bulldog this year because of her height. But obviously, as you see, Holt looks like foul Connors. That's the third team foul by the Rams of the half. They run a play which gets it to Connors. Connors, successful pass into Zanecki. Zanecki floats it up. No foul, no contact, and Roselle ball. Santiago threatened a shot. She works backwards to reset. Now Santiago, we haven't seen her do anything offensively tonight. She's been off the bench, hasn't really shot the ball too much. This one goes up, and a jump ball, which points Metuchen's way. Bulldogs ball. Final 30 seconds of the third quarter. Polakowski, little bouncer to Josie Gray. Gray, Connors, fake shot. And Polakowski might have gotten away with an extra step there, but it doesn't fall either way. Inside of 15 seconds left. 12 points on the difference. At the end of the quarter, we'll be joined by Henry Sia, as just his voice will be on. It won't be on camera. Connors, a three. No good. Unlike that Pfeiffer buzzer beater to end the second quarter, the Dogs can't add points to end the third quarter. 14 points is the difference right now. Metuchen has played a good game, Henry, but the third quarter was a little shaky. What's the problem?
I mean, I've been saying it all game. Metuchen had a bit of a problem on defense the first two quarters. My God, has it gotten a lot worse. I mean, 16 points is one quarter is just so large in high school basketball. And that would be good if the offense stepped it up. The offense was only able to score about 5 points that entire game, which really just puts into perspective the dominance of Roselle today. I mean, Metuchen definitely needs to improve mostly on defense, but if they want any chance of coming back in this game, any chance at all, make sure they work on their offense. Make sure they can outscore Roselle. So, Metuchen, in a bit of a tight spot, they just need to start scoring points and shaping up that defense, which is normally spearheaded by Orly Germain. Today she's been a bit ineffective, but if they could get her back into her zone, Metuchen should be good to go.
Yeah, thanks, Henry. Jared, I want to ask you something. Do you think that this, I don't know, struggle in offense has to do with the Roselle defense or actual struggles on Metuchen offense? Because personally, I think it's been more the Roselle defense dominating than, faulting Metuchen's offense.
And it's certainly been something that we haven't really seen this year so far with Metuchen, where they're actually outmatched in almost every position here. Where Roselle certainly carries size, where Metuchen is more of a fast team. So we've seen them play, especially at the end of the second quarter, where they play a fast-paced offense and more of a fast break side of play with the press defense, where it actually works out for them.
So, it's been a sloppy start to the fourth quarter, only 20 seconds in, and they gave the ball away. That was Roselle who lost it, and it's Pfeiffer's inbound. This is a chance to turn the tide, Jared, and they really want to, like Henry said, use their main player, their center, Germain, and she's back into the game. We'll see what she's able to do to, as Henry said, spearhead the offense to a W, but they're in the back seat right now, trailing by 14. Some shots, both don't go in. Breen got the rebound. She floats it over to Connors, and Connors runs the offense. Pfeiffer, no good. Germain, this is swatted out. That's not something you'd see in past games. Germain can't get this one done. There's a steal, though. That's definitely something you would see in other games, as Germain gets a steal. That's her 24th steal of the season. Bouncer. Ooh. Lucky are the Bulldogs, and a foul on against Katie Gray. She'll have shots, as it was a shooting foul. Chance for 2 more points. They trail by 14 with the chance to make it 12.
And that's a great job by Katie Gray. Any sort of points, no matter how you get them, is important, especially in a game like this. And Katie Gray, a great job getting inside the paint there and getting under the rim to really find that ball by her feet and put it up and draw the foul.
No points guaranteed, but that one good as she gets the first shot to fall. Want to make every single point when you can. This is a free point if you can make it. And it's no good, but I'd take her offensive rebound over anything, as they have the chance to score more than just one. Here, it's Breen. She puts it up. She's got it. What a shot by Charlotte Breen. It's a 4-point drive for the Dogs, and they're back within 10. That was a foul, it looked like, against Littles, but they don't get the call. In fact, Littles will be sent to the line for the chance for an and one. 12-point lead, could be 13 if she hits this. This could cancel out that Charlotte Breen 3.
And it's unfortunate. An unfortunate break for Metuchen here. It looks like they're sort of gaining some momentum. The offensive rebound, the foul, and the Charlotte Breen 3. And then, of course, Roselle, like I've said, they have all night, answered the call when it comes to answering back to Metuchen's points, and they just did right there with an M1.
Every single point but one was canceled out. After that phenomenal Bulldog drive, 3 of those were canceled out on a great play. Play by Littles, who was fouled on the way to the hoop. Nice play to save it by Pfeiffer. 3-pointer. They have more of their own. They do. What a shot. Cassidy Connors. I know someone in this room is happy about that. It's a 10-point game once more after a Connors 3-pointer. This one goes back up, and there's that momentum killer. Brianna Holtz got it, and it's still 12 points. It just feels like every time Metuchen has something great, there's a counter argument.
It's really important for Roselle to actually establish this victory here, where they've answered the call to every single point so far. And they're not letting Metuchen really gain some momentum. Of course, they're shooting very well, but of course Roselle just has an answer.
Well, I think Metuchen's on defense after the air ball. It didn't look like there was any contact, and it didn't touch off a red shirt. Yeah, it's going to stay Roselle ball, inbounded by Anna Duoka. Chinazam Anna Duoka gives it away. It's picked up by Connors. It's raced shot up to the hoop. Banks no good. Now across the half comes Littles. Littles behind the back. Little juke around. She's losing it. Germain fighting for it. It'll be a jump ball staying in the territory that they're in right now. Or not. It feels like that's been the second jump ball in a row that's gone their way. But Metuchen isn't complaining. They need the ball, and they need points. Connors. 3-point no good. Picked up by the co-captain, Breen. Connors in the corner. She's doubled. She still gets through. Make a great pass to Germain, and she's fouled. Orly Germain with her first real bucket of the night. She has 3 on the night. Chance to make it 4 at the line. What a find, though. I want to talk about Cassidy Connors. She was doubled in the corner, snuck through on a Duoka, and got through to the defense. Got through the defense and kicked to her always reliable Orly Germain to get the points. And now Germain with a chance to make it 3.
And ball security has been an important point on both sides of the ball tonight. Being secure with the ball, but of course those passes have been very important. Where sometimes you know it's not going to go your way, but it's a great find nonetheless.
The Dogs bring back the press defense and immediately get the steal. There's Germain underneath. Can't get the first. She fouled? No, she's not. How about another attempt? No good. But keep that press defense. They brought it back for one play. It worked. Let's see if they do that again. They are doing man defense or woman defense. There's a steal for Breen. Breen off the glass and in. This one a 7-point game. Nice play by Breen. They're running that press defense inside of 5 minutes. Little panic on the offense. Ball goes awry. It's going to go out of bounds. Bulldog ball. Wow. And take a deep breath. How about that for momentum for Metuchen? Their ball only down by 7. It was 11 a minute ago.
And this is very, very crucial here for the Bulldogs. These points obviously putting them within 1 or 2 possessions here, where this is really a game that it hasn't been all game.
Checked into Breen. They still have plenty of time, but it's good that they're getting this momentum now. Like Henry C. has said, they need some sort of eruption on the offense. There's a 3-pointer, no good. But again, Germain always there for the rebound. She gets it, gives Metuchen another shot, another 3. Was it a 3? She had her toes on the line. It won't count anyway, as the 3 doesn't go. Ripped down by Red. This is what it comes down to. Feels like there's been a counter-argument against Metuchen's offense all night. Can they hold defensively? Let's see if Germain can shut down Holt. Been a tough thing to do all night. She'll be sent to the line for 2 as Germain fouls again. I think that's her 3rd foul of the game. No, not really in foul trouble, but puts the team, her 4th foul, it puts the team in a little bit of foul trouble when now they're at 5 fouls. It's approaching that bonus, and obviously we know if you get to bonus first, if the other team gets to bonus first, they are more likely to win the game. First shot good. Polkowski will come in for Germain. She'll get a rest. I guarantee you'll see more of Germain after she found herself a little bit here in the 4th quarter.
And if you're questioning at home why take Orly Germain out after this burst of momentum, it's of course the Kathy Glutz system where you just cycle your players in and out, and we'll definitely see her again. But now definitely a faster team out there, and we'll see what they come up with here in a fast-paced game.
Clock stops on the whistle, so clock started at 4:01 and it's now racing at 3:53. Pfeiffer. She looked like she was fouled. She was. It won't be a shooting foul though. It's just the 5th Roselle team foul of the second half. It'll be inbounded, I think, by Gray when they're ready. Under 4 minutes to go. That was a foul on Chinazom on a Duoka. Oh, outside to Breen. You know she's going to take it. She's taken more 3-point chances tonight than she has in most other games. That one doesn't fall, though. She's waiting for that big-time 3-pointer, which she can hit. That one, on a quick steal, Roselle capitalizes on their opportunities. And just like that, that momentum, little stab against it. And a timeout called by Kathy Glutz. She has 4 to go in the game. We're going to talk now to Henry Sia, our analyst, about what happened as of late. So Metuchen got their momentum and it kind of went away. What kind of happened? What gave them it? What kind of gave the momentum away?
All I'm going to say is that was fun to watch for the past couple of minutes. I mean, Metuchen was down about 9, 10. They were down almost double digits. And all of a sudden, just something clicked for him. Charlotte Breen making threes, Cassidy Connors making threes, and everybody. And it looked like the momentum was shifting. Metuchen was coming back. But every time Metuchen got a three or got some sort of momentum shifter, Roselle answered right back. And that is why Roselle is such a formidable team. I mean, they answer the call. When things seem to get bleak, they know when it's most important to start scoring. And Roselle kind of just killed any chance of a comeback here. So Metuchen, it was fun to watch for a couple minutes, but Roselle just caught up with them, and now it's an 11-point game.
Are you
Great attempts by Metuchen for the comeback.
you counting them out? Because I don't know. I feel like any team here with Jermaine and Connors and I don't know, a few of these players just say comeback right now.
I mean, definitely. Everybody's locked in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Pfeiffer, Breen, Connors, all making shots like it's nothing. But,
Yep.
you know, if they want any chance of coming back, they need to keep up this pace on offense and make sure they could finally stop Roselle on offense.
Right,
for
and
good.
it has to start now. It has to start now. So that's going to be a main focus. Are they able to score here? They have the ball. That's a gift. They have to use it. Now it goes to Breen. She's up at top. Little floater. She's fouled. That, by the way, keep your eye on the bonus, is foul number 6. Excuse me, foul number 7, which will be a bonus, and Gray will have a 1-in-1 chance. You hit this, you earn a second shot. Have to hit this if you're Gray. She made 1 of 2 at the line her last trip. A big-time chance here. Unless they called it a shooting foul, which it wasn't. The one-handed stroke no good. That press defense, they're doubling the best player for Boston. And a timeout by the head coach, Bill Hawk. And they'll talk things over. Metuchen didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get the points, but they're playing good defense, and they forced a timeout out of Bill Hawk and the offense for Roselle. So that's, I guess, a positive.
And most of the second half, they've gotten actually a lot of steals, which is very important here down the stretch. Only 3 minutes to go, but like you said, I wouldn't count them out. They've had momentum swings earlier in this game where they've actually been able to cut this lead to just a few. And now that they're in the bonus with 7 fouls against Roselle, it's definitely important going down the last 3 minutes where they can actually turn it into something.
For now, we'll take a break. We'll be back in just a few seconds as Metuchen trails by 11. Ready to go, just a few seconds as I said, and we're back now here with 3:08 to go in the fourth quarter. Game running out, but Metuchen isn't. They're ready to try to bring everything they have in these final 3 minutes, and as Henry Sia says, it has to start now if they want to come back. They've looked good all game. They just perhaps a little outmatched. There's some points free, it looked like, for Boston. I don't even know who would have more points. We could tally it up between Brianna Holt and Zoe Boston, but they're both just feeding all day. It's been a great combo, pretty much the entire offense that's made up Roselle.
And something else we've seen is actually Sabrina Davis, the junior, with leading the team in assists. And, of course, she's feeding both of the 2 star power offensive players on the floor, Brianna Holt and Zoe Boston. So definitely key in this one here. Almost a victory here for Roselle, but of course, gotta battle it out down the stretch.
Well, never say die, but it is looking like the Rams might close this out. There's free points for Boston. She's got it.
And I would say that's the dagger there for Metuchen. Now it is a 15-point game with 2 minutes to go. I'd say that Metuchen's going to walk away with a defeat here, unfortunately, although they did play well.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying, by the way, about Germain coming out, and kind of it feels like the defense sort of just, they have very little to offer against that offense. And Germain came out, and I guess Polakowski's obviously good, but it's just hard without, the height of Germain, the athleticism of Germain. She's a senior, she's a captain. It's not just the presence, the morale, the athletic ability. She brings it all, and even on off days, or quote-unquote off days like today, you still need her if you're this team. And it does ring a little tiny bit of concern for next year when Germain will be missing. A bunch of the seniors will be missing. Obviously, Charlotte Breen will be gone. Cassidy Connors will be gone. Katie Gray will be gone. 4 starters are seniors here. So the only non-starter here will be on the back of Sam Pfeiffer, who takes the shot and can't get it. But Sam Pfeiffer I'm looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to some maybe Lucy Pilata. Josie Gray might step up in the center position. I'm trying to think. There's plenty of young talent here. Caitlin Connors, maybe, and just Vicky Zanecki will be here. So lots of hope for Metuchen looking forward, but they are going to have to restructure their offense without Germain.
And this is a benefit to, of course, the Coach Glutz system, where she's worked in almost all of her underclassmen this year, like Lucy Pilata, like Josie Gray, and, of course, Ella Polakowski, Sam Pfeiffer. So you're already looking at your starting lineup for next year, and they've gotten experience at the varsity level, something very important.
Yeah, experience is 100% important. That's a good point, Jared, because it feels like last year they were doing some of the same. They were just kind of subbing in Sam Pfeiffer, and she got some good time. She played well, and obviously she got a starting job this year. Last year, Danny Galligan for the boys barely played. Danny Kuhn barely played. They dominated at JV, but once they got to varsity, they came in just for a few minutes, and they now are starting on the team and playing great basketball for the Bulldogs on the boys team. So little bit of both on the girls and boys, a little bit of similarities there. So a lot to look forward to next year. Obviously still a few more games to go on this season as Metuchen looks ahead. But for now, we'll take a stop with a minute 12 to go. We'll be back in just a few seconds as the Bulldogs trail 56-39 here on the Bulldog Report. Ready to go for the final minute or so. Bulldogs trail by 17. They haven't scored such few points in a few games. Only 39 right now. They scored 36 against Brearley early on the season, 34 the game after that against Gov Livingston, and Calvary Christian 34. But since then, they've scored at least, it feels like 40 points or so, besides one game, which they scored 35 since then. But it feels like since early January, Metuchen has been able to put up a lot of points. And today, as I said, it's more so a pro for Roselle than a con against Metuchen. They've been just shut down.
And Metuchen's played well. I think that they've just been outmatched. Their scoring hasn't been as high as it's been recently, but I think it's because Aurelie Germain got leveled this game and some of the other players just couldn't keep up. So certainly something for Metuchen to work on, of course, going into next year as well. But they got a game Thursday against Denellen. We'll see how they react after this one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. And on the 21st, they play South River, which is a NJSIAA tournament first round game. That's going to be fun. That'll be home, so we'll be on the call for that. That's a week from today. So that's obviously Monday, Tuesday of next week. So, wow, I'm losing track. Crazy. But yeah, that'll be a fun one for Metuchen against South River. Obviously, a good program for the boys and girls. But Metuchen, we're gonna declare this a loss. They're amidst their third losing streak of the year, and their losses have come in bunches. They lost 2 in a row, the 21st and 23rd, and then they lost 2 in a row on the 27th and 28th. Then they lost on the 8th in their last game, and they lost today. So, they have 7 losses now, and 6 of them have come in just batches of 2. So maybe the pattern will continue and they'll win their next game against Denellen, which I think they should. Metuchen's a very good team, but don't forget, obviously Roselle's just in a better conference. They play better teams. They have the height, they have skill, and bigger school, and as a result, they came out with the W here in Metuchen.
And Metuchen, of course, just unfortunate here. They've gotten outplayed in Roselle, but Denellen definitely a good team here, and they should play them well Thursday.
Final seconds winding down, and Metuchen loses this one. Obviously, Henry, we like to take a positive out of every single game. What's the positive out of this one? How does Metuchen walk away smiling? What are they thinking about heading into next game?
I mean, Metuchen, throughout the game, it might look like a blowout if you look at the final score, but they've shown some promise the entire time. I mean, at one point, it looked like Metuchen was going to come back. In the first half, it was only a 5-point deficit where the game was definitely in reach. So, if I was to take a positive out of this, like you said, Roselle plays in a better conference, has the height. It's a bigger school than Metuchen. But, more importantly, it shows that Metuchen can hang with the big dogs. They can hang with, no pun intended, Metuchen can hang with all the best people that aren't in their conference. And it shows that, Metuchen isn't just some team that's like part of a small school and struggles against bigger ones. It shows that they could kind of keep up. Even if they lost by 17 points, if you watch the game, you'd know that Metuchen was pretty much, like, the lead was for the taking at any moment this game.
Right. They don't really let themselves get pushed around. So that's one good thing about the Bulldogs. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Jared. For Jared Popek and Henry Sia, I'm Ike Bush. This was the Bulldog Report. Final score in this one, 56-39. Bulldogs play on Thursday, so tune into that. That'll be a home game. I'll be on the call with Jared, and Henry will be here too. For now, though, that'll wrap it up. Ike Bush, Henry Sia, and Jared Popek, we are signing off.